Dr. Alex Mashilo, Central Committee member of the SACP, joins us now for a further discussion. Dr. Mashilo, a very good evening to you. Thank you for taking the time. I'd like to start first with the reaction of the SACP and within the membership to the announcement that was made and the thoughts around its ramifications.
The ramifications of the announcement made by former President Jacob Zuma will depend on how the ANC and to some extent over above that, the alliance will handle the matter. The reason why I am involving the alliance here is that Umkhonto weSizwe was not a liberation army only of the ANC. That's why you had the likes of Joe Slovo and Chris Hani, who were SACP General Secretaries successively, being part of the MK command. Its constitution was written at the SACP headquarters, which were underground headquarters then when it was established. That is Liliesleaf Farm in North Johannesburg. So on Friday, I attended from the Central Committee of the SACP, the ANC's manifesto review wrap-up in Alberton. And at that gathering, the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, announced that those who registered a party using the name of the MK, the ANC will take action against them legally. And then the first step was the ANC filing an objection. So given the fact that the MK did not belong only to the ANC, but also to the SACP, we will certainly support that action by the ANC.
So what does the SACP feel about former President Jacob Zuma's latest move? I say this against the backdrop. President Jacob Zuma there spoke about the pain of not being allowed to finish his terms. The SACP was fully behind a vote of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma. In fact, at some point, there was an accusation against the former president saying that he's still trying to hold on to power and that there are rumors or reports that he's even willing to employ Amabuto. Is this a relationship that has long fallen out between the SACP and former President Jacob Zuma?
Look, it is true what you have said, that the SACP supported the decision for the recall of former President Jacob Zuma. That decision was correct at the time when we supported it based on the evidence we had of what was going on in the country at that time and the need to solve the situation. Just to say one point in addition to that is that former President Jacob Zuma's statements were contradictory. You will recall that after he was elected in Polokwane in 2007 himself, former President Thabo Mbeki was recalled with President Jacob Zuma as the president of the ANC. So it can't be that he was the first president of the ANC to be recalled in a decision supported by the alliance partners. What could have been important for former President Jacob Zuma would have been to give the reasons of the material conditions our people are faced with on the ground. When you advance a program, you do not do so on grounds that may be found wanting. For example, when he referred to the ANC's expulsion of its former Secretary General, Ace Magashule, he said that was selective. And the example he gave was that the current president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, is facing charges. As a matter of fact, there are no charges against the current president of the ANC in any court of law. So when you advance an agenda, you should ensure that the ground on which you stand is a firm ground so that the reasons you give will not be attacked successfully. So in this instance, some of the reasons that former President Jacob Zuma gave will be untenable if they were to be subjected to scrutiny. All we can say is it would have been more interesting and sharper if former President Jacob Zuma advanced an anti-capitalist critique and put forward a program that can help turn South Africa around for us to create millions of
Dr. Mashilo,
jobs for the people who are unemployed. Yes.
I'm going to jump in there because if I recall correctly, I think it was in 2020, it was around May, I think, when the former president, Jacob Zuma himself, actually took a swipe at the SACP, saying it has long lost its way, that in fact since 1994 you have not held on to the socialist agenda, that even the membership structure seems to be a free-for-all. It's not about choosing people carefully. So what you're criticizing him of, he has criticized you as the SACP, even labeling the alliance as an alliance in name only.
Look, he did not do so when he enjoyed the support of the alliance. He only did so after he was recalled. So it is only fair to take what he said as a reaction to the decision that was made. And I must say the SACP, if you will recall, was the first organization that put forward the thesis that South Africa was under a state capture agenda. And he differed with us and asserted that there was no state capture in this country. We were required to produce evidence. In reaction to that, we became the first political organization in the country to call for the Commission of Inquiry into corporate state capture. So it is only fair, with the due respect that he deserves, to appreciate that he was speaking after the fact. He was speaking as a reaction to what would have happened. It would have made sense if he said what he had said between 1994 and the time when he was recalled from the government.
All right, really appreciate your time, Dr. Mashilo. Thank you very much for speaking to us. The SACP's Dr. Alex Mashilo, the SACP's reaction to the announcement made by the former president and what the possible fallout would be.